Hello, I'm Liz Smith, Family and Consumer Science Educator with Ohio State University Extension. Today I'm going to show you some recipes and tips for making meals when you have to grab and go or when we're on the run. We really live in a society where we're always on the run, and it's really difficult to get everyone to sit down together and have a meal. Oftentimes we're grabbing things from the deli or through the fast food alley, and we really are sacrificing our nutrition, our money, and our family time at the table. So we're going to talk about, if you would grab something, what else you could include with that to make your meal more complete and nutritious. We're going to do two different recipes today that would include some of those things that we oftentimes are not able to get in our meals when we grab and go. Those include the fruits, the vegetables, and the low-fat dairy. So the first thing we're going to do is make one recipe that will help us with some of the fruit and low-fat dairy. We're going to make a berry pineapple fluff. You're going to start that recipe by washing your hands. And I want to emphasize that's really important, that you always wash your hands before you start anything in the kitchen. I'm going to tell you the ingredients for this recipe before we get started. The first thing you want to do is use a pound of frozen berries. I have raspberries here, but you can also use cranberries or blueberries or a mixed berry. Here I have an 8-ounce can of pineapple. You want to make sure that you're using the 8-ounce can and not the larger can. And you're going to drain that can of pineapple. And so here I have the pineapple juice from that can that I'm going to use when I cook my berries. You're going to use a 4-ounce serving of sugar-free Jell-O, and you can either use the raspberry Jell-O or the mixed berry Jell-O. Here is 2 cups of the non-fat vanilla yogurt. And here are some mandarin oranges that have been drained and rinsed that you're going to use for garnish. You can also use fresh orange slices. So to get started on our recipe, after we've washed our hands, we're going to take our berries and we're going to put those berries in a saucepan. We're going to add our pineapple juice that has been drained from our can. And we're going to take this to our stove, and we're going to set our dial for medium heat. And we're going to cook this for about 5 minutes to soften our berries. Now your finished berries are softened. You're going to take your Jell-O packet and dissolve the Jell-O in the hot berries. So you're going to want to stir this up and make sure that it's all dissolved. And when that is dissolved, then you're going to add your pineapple and your yogurt to the dish. Oftentimes I use a spatula to make sure that I get all the yogurt out of the bowl. Stir this up real good, making sure that you get the yogurt and the pineapple mixed in. Once that is mixed very well, you're going to put this in a 9 by 13 or 11 by 7 pan. This is going to need to then go into the refrigerator, where it will take about 2 hours to set up. So at this point, now that I've got it in my pan, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and allow this to set up. Now you have your finished product, your berry pineapple fluff. And what you're going to do at this point is you're going to be able to cut this into 12 servings and garnish it with your oranges or mandarin oranges that we talked about before. So you can actually take your mandarin oranges and put it on each of the 12 servings. And after you've done that, then you're going to be able to enjoy your berry pineapple fluff along with your grab and go items. My second recipe for grab and go is the green beans, cranberries, and nuts. This is a family favorite, and our family has 5 members, And so I'm going to triple this recipe so that we have plenty of vegetables to add to our grab-and-go meal. In this recipe, you're going to first wash your hands as before, and I'm going to go through the ingredients. You're going to use oil in this recipe. You can either use canola or olive oil, and I chose olive oil. And then you're going to use cranberries. I'm using dried cranberries, and you can also use fresh or frozen. You're going to use nuts in the recipe. You can either use pecans, walnuts, or almonds, and I'm using sliced almonds. Then you're going to add your green beans. I've chosen to use frozen green beans, which I have pre-cooked in the microwave to use in this recipe. You can also use fresh green beans, or you can use canned green beans, which you have drained and rinsed. Finally, you're going to add honey to the recipe, and it's just a small amount, half a tablespoon per recipe. And then I have some dill and lemon pepper that would be seasonings per the person's preference. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start an electric skillet. I'm going to go ahead and put my electric skillet at medium, which is kind of the area where I feel like these are going to cook the best. You can of course also use a skillet on your stove, but I've chosen to use this today. Now I'm going to take my oil and I'm going to add this to my electric skillet. I'm going to allow this to heat for just a moment, and once that has heated, then I'm going to add my cranberries and my nuts. What I'm going to do with these is allow these to soften. So for just a little bit of time, 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to allow those to soften in that oil. And once those have softened, then I'm going to add my green beans and allow those to cook a little bit with the oil, cranberries, and nuts. So at this point, I'm going to allow those to warm up just a second here. The great thing about this recipe is that it provides a lot of vegetables, also some fruits, and the healthy nuts and oils that we all need in our diet. So I'm going to go ahead and add my green beans at this point. I'm going to continue stirring to make sure that those are thoroughly cooking. And once those are heated through, then I'll add my honey to the recipe. And it's ready to serve. I would go ahead and serve it in a serving bowl, of course, and then allow people to add the seasonings that they prefer. This is a wonderful recipe to use for taking when you're going to family functions, especially holidays and things, because it is so colorful and pretty. And also, it's just a great thing to have, like I mentioned, when you're grabbing and go. So if you're doing a chicken, or if you're doing burgers, or if you're doing subs, it makes a wonderful complement to those. I think at this point I'll go ahead and add my honey, and then really the dish is complete other than adding the seasonings of your preference. I'm going to stir that honey in, and this is a wonderful recipe to have for your family anytime, and definitely gives them some great nutrition.